What are some good examples of spending money to save money? This tip comes from our community post at Allison Pratt 8296, meal prepping. It's so much easier to grab a meal that's already made and just needs to be heated up versus going out to eat or fast food. Hey, if you want to be featured in our future videos, head over to my channel and check out some of my weekly community posts. At the end of each week, I pick the best comment and add it to my video. Story 2. Okay, so where do I begin? Right, these are my go-to home tips on saving money. Home repairs, don't want to fix that $1,000 problem now? Wait a few years and it can turn into a $10,000 problem. Brewing your own coffee and not buying it on the way to work. I can make a small $5 bag of coffee that would last about a week, whereas I was spending $4 a day for coffee to and from work. Try different coffees throughout the weeks and remember which types and brands you enjoyed. Keep a coffee journal and buy a nice thermos for less than the price of 2 weeks of drinking out. Great home coffee and a nice thermos goes a long way towards saving money. Buying nice cookware that lasts a lifetime instead of having something off-brand break at the worst time. Buying a carbon monoxide detector at home to avoid spending money on dying. Building a house following the principles of passive solar design. The house will be a little bit more expensive to build because you can't use one of the really cheap project builders, but will save you a fortune in energy costs over the lifetime of your home. Buying a clothesline to dry your clothes, if you have the room for one, it can save you a lot of money. Electric dryers consume a lot of electricity. Your clothes will also last longer. That lint in the filter is your clothes. Another is to learn to cook your own meals. Buying prepackaged stuff and going out to dinner is costly. Make big batches, package individually or in pairs, and freeze the leftovers. Get a collection of leftovers so you can have some variety of meals in the future from your freezer. The cheap man pays twice, buy good quality, and you'll save money over time. Story 3. 1. Get a credit card with great perks at grocery stores. 2. Find a grocery store that sells gift cards to other retailers and offers other perks, for example, fuel points. 3rd, keep an eye out for promotions like fuel point bonuses. And 4th, time your gift card purchases at that time and store them for when you inevitably need them. Specifically, I do this at Kroger. I get 6% grocery purchases back with my credit card and buy gift cards during 4 times fuel promotions. If I buy $250 worth of gift cards during these promos, that's a fill-up of gas, up to 35 gallons of $1 per gallon off. So now I've spent $250, saved $15 due to my credit card, plus another $35 when I use the gas fill-up. My effective discount rate is 20%. This basically allows me to save on all my non-grocery purchases since I am using gift cards. This includes everything from clothing, Amazon, flights, restaurants, electronics, etc. Story 4. Just buy stuff that you'll need when they're on sale. Sure, you don't need 10 toothbrushes right now, 4 bottles of shampoo, a 5-pack of antiperspirant deodorant stuff, 8 packs of soda, or 10 bottles of vodka. But if you pay for it all up front, it'll be cheaper with the discount. Also, do stuff like buy a $50 Subway gift card to get a free large sandwich. Next 3-4 times use the gift card, then once it's almost out, buy another $50 GC and get a free sandwich. People say to get a used car, which IMO is sort of a good idea. Yes, it's obviously cheaper, but if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you may end up buying a crap car and have to get it fixed up every now and then. All my friends love the money they supposedly saved on a new car, but it seems like they're always taking it to the shop to get stuff fixed. Buy stuff for the quality, not how cheap it is. Of course, hard to do if you're poor, I'd assume, but buying a $250 pair of boots that'll last a lifetime is better than the $50 pair that'll last a year or so, maybe. Take care of stuff. If something's leaking in your house, get it fixed. Sure, it costs money, but it's cheaper to spend $100 now to fix it than to spend $1,500 in a year when it needs to be replaced. Oh, if only there was a huge sale of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. 100 boxes of that, CTC, probably won't last me too long though. Story 5. $45 Sam Club's membership, make it back just on gas alone in a handful of months. $99 on Amazon Prime. I buy almost everything but perishable items on Amazon. Save time, save money. Spent about $150 for two Southwest credit card annual memberships, which got me about 130,000 Southwest points. After sign up bonuses, hitting required spend off stuff I was buying anyway, and some referrals, and got me a Southwest companion pass for 2 years. Canceled both after the first year, kept points and the pass. Buy food and items in a bulk. Buy items when they're on a great sale, even if you don't need them, if they won't go bad. I have enough toilet paper, paper towels, AC heat vent filters, and Kleenex to last me a few years. Spend extra money on quality items that come between you and the ground: shoes, tires, furniture, etc. This keeps you from having to buy the item again, from wearing out faster, or paying to fix your health issues from cheaping out on these items. Pay for a gym membership and actually use it. Save a ton on health issues later. Story 6. People always brag to me about how little they've spent on their clothes or shoes. And I'm like, yeah, but I've fallen over in these pants, ripped open my knee, and there is not a hole in the pants, so. And a good pair of hiking boots and runners in a dark color will last you a ridiculous amount of time. A good pair of gloves and a good scarf that aren't made of a piling fabric are also great, also coats. Cheap out on underwear that you're going to wear regularly, toss them as soon as they show wear, and a whole bunch of different printed or styled shirts because you can cycle through them and they won't go through the wash as often if you have a good amount. Cookware is to splurge on. Bowls and glasses can be broken very easily, so grab those for cheap. Your cutlery isn't going to die anytime soon, so cheap out on that. However, your knives are a godsend. Learn to sharpen, learn to hone, take care of them. You need a paring knife, a serrated knife, and a chopping knife. If you do a lot of meat stuff, a long and flexible blade is also pretty essential. I think our toolbox is from the 60s and a lot of our cookware is about the same age. The knives are newish, but the only one that shows signs of actual damage is the paring knife that I drunkenly attempted to use in lieu of a corkscrew on New Year's. Gotta get that one fixed. My boots are 8 years old. I need new runners because mine are white, sigh, and they're stained. Ripped jeans are kind of funny. It is 2024, and come to think of it, buying clothes with holes on them because it's in, win-win. Story 7. Number 1, installing solar panels and a small wind turbine so you can generate electricity, either to use it yourself or feed it to the grid, selling your generated electricity to an electrical company. Also, changing your heating system from either electricity or oil to a wood burner or geothermal. The cost of investment is kinda high, but it pays for itself after about 15 years. Number 2, investing in stocks and shares. Investing $200 a month, you could be a millionaire in 18 years given that the average return rate of your investment is 10%. Number 3, buying a newer car with lower fuel consumption. I have an almost 20-year-old car that consumes 1 liter per 10 kilometers. I commute 200 kilometers per day, and I need to fill up my tank every second day. Changing to a newer car, costing about $20,000, I could cut my fuel consumption in half, and all other things being equal, the car would have paid for itself after 4 years. 4, fix everything. You will initially lose money messing up and buying tools. Once you get the hang of it, it pays off big. Toilet was running, spent $20 on a universal kit and replaced everything, not porcelain, no plumber, and no water waste. Number 5, that said, buying a good set of tools, being able to fix a couch or table or plumbing fixture or whatever on demand is so much better than needing to either A, pay someone else to fix it, B, buying a whole new whatever, or C, having to buy all of the needed supplies and tools to fix it after the whatever has broken. Number 6, get the points card for the top 3 gas stations you use when you have a hangover. There's often enough points for a Gatorade. Some let you use the points for lottery tickets if you're that type. I use mine for the car washes. Just check in with your email. Sometimes you get bonus points for filling up X times in a month. Where I am, the prices are almost always the same anyhow. Story 8. Buying non-perishables in bulk, canned foods, toilet paper, land and properties, car and suit. Some occupations are reliant on you looking the part to retain clients. Basic golf lessons and clubs. Protective seat covers for your car. It prevents damage, which will depreciate your car on resale and will prevent cleaning costs. Manufacturer recommended maintenance on your home or car or equipment. A quality wool coat can last years without looking too dated. You can use a razor to trim the stray bits. A smoker and dehydrator, you can make homemade jerky, sausages, fruit sugars, and herb salts. A sewing machine, learn to hem your own pants or make minor alterations. Where I'm from, hemming your pants is $8 per piece. You can get a basic sewing machine for $160 and it'll save you money within a few years. Spending money on starting an herb garden, herbs sell for a lot and they aren't hard to grow at home. Quality isolation for your home. Pay to get all renovations double checked by a third party. Investments in blue chip stocks. And spending money on your health. Yearly doctor's checkup, paying that little bit extra to buy good quality meat and vitamin supplements. Story 9. Buying good computer parts from a good company. I've been down that route before. Built a semi-decent computer, wanted a better GPU a few years later, installed a new GPU, realized I needed a modular PSU, forgot the PCIe power, blew up my motherboard and almost cooked my CPU. The CPU survived, I'm using the i5 right now, but the motherboard didn't and the BIOS complained about an overvoltage on every boot even with a new PSU. The PSU also survived, I keep that as a spare. But just as an example, if I did some research and bought a modular PSU when I built it instead of using the one included with the case, I could have saved money by saving a motherboard from its death. When building a PC, never skimp on the power supply. Sure, you can save money by using an unbranded unit or reusing the metal units found in pre-built ones, but if it blows and ends up taking your entire system with it, don't say nobody warned you. Steam sale. Buy video games, want to play video games, never go anywhere to maximize time playing said video games. Sure, you might spend $100 on games, but for the next 2 weeks you'll cancel dates, not use gas, the list is endless. Yes, good old Steam sales. Don't forget the PlayStation sales too. And another thing, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. You'll never know, you might end up getting the tip from my videos that could make you a millionaire. Story 10. The Sam Vimes Boots Theory of Economic Justice. The reason that the rich were so rich, Vimes' reason, was because they managed to spend less money. Take Boots, for example. He earned $38 a month plus allowance. A really good pair of leather boots cost $50. But an affordable pair of boots, which were sort of okay for a season or two and then leaked like hell when the cardboard gave out, cost about $10. Those were the kinds of boots Vimes always bought and wore until the soles were so thin that he could tell where he was in Ankh-Morpork on a foggy night by the feel of the cobbles. But the thing was that good boots lasted for years and years. A man who could afford $50 had a pair of boots that'd still be keeping his feet dry in 10 years' time, while the poor man who could only afford cheap boots would have spent $100 on boots in the same time and would still have wet feet. Shoes are a real investment in my opinion. Get a good pair of formal shoes, get a good daily driver, and you're all set. Just reminds me of my feed on TikTok where some dude restores shoes. Pretty cool stuff. Even boots too. Speaking of TikTok, I do have a TikTok. How about coming over and checking it out? It's a collection of the best stories from my videos. Story 11. Changing the timing belt in your car. Timing belts control the synchronization of the rotation of the crankshaft and the camshaft so that the engine's valves open and close at the proper times during each cylinder's intake and exhaust strokes. In old engines, if the belt broke, then this wasn't a catastrophic failure, as you would really just lose drive. However, most newer cars have interference engines, and this means that the valves and the pistons occupy the same space when running. Thus, if the belt snaps, the valves will literally smash into the piston and cause bent valves, rods, or complete engine loss. Timing belts have to be changed every 100,000 kilometers, about 60,000 miles, depending on your manufacturer's requirements. This would cost around $500 to $900, but it is essential. Please be aware that a lot of cars have timing change instead, which do not need replacing at a set date or mileage. If you are in the used car market, please make sure that your purchase has either a documented timing belt change in the history or doesn't need one in a while. You can haggle a little lower if you think a timing belt change is due. Story 12. I don't know that this quite answers the question correctly, but using thrift stores has saved me so much money. especially on clothing, but also appliances, tools, pots and pans, and much more. Flash fashion, H&M, etc. seems cheap, but you still won't beat thrift store prices. Find a good place with a good price on shoes. I buy shoes all the time for about $4. Sometimes the store will half off on shoes, or they're only $2. Columbia's, Clark's, Kenneth Cole's, Nike's, any brand you can imagine will be there. There really is an abundance of amazing, insanely cheap clothing in our thrift stores. You can have an ever changing personal fashion for pennies on the dollar. I've adapted so much to this lifestyle, though, that I really can't stomach the idea of paying even $30 for a pair of jeans. Story 13. Just a few off the top of my head. LED lights, not every fixture, but fixtures you commonly use more than 1 to 2 hours a day. We found our old bulbs used 40 watts each. Turning on our living room would consume 240 watts of power, 6 bulbs. We replaced all those with LED equivalents, and now we use 60 watts of power. Remember, these are regular bulbs going from 40 watts to 10 watts, and to daylight makes a huge, major difference for us. Again, we started with our outside lights and lights that we use for more than an hour a day. As other bulbs died, we'd replace them with LEDs. I'd say 95% of the house is LED now. I can't speak on cost savings because we have solar panels, but the amount we generally owe did decrease. You might spend more for these lights over regular CFLs, but they do pay themselves off. Another example would be purchasing your own modern and DVRs. If your ISP supports it, Comcast will allow you to purchase your own equipment. In the case of a modern, that's about $10 a month in savings. Get something fairly decent, at least with 16 downstream and 8 upstream channels paired with a decent router. It'll pay itself off. And the next time you'll have to do the math, but for us, we were paying about $40 in TV boxes with the DVR being included. That's 1 DVR and 4 TV boxes. We switched over to TiVo, bought a cable card, and bought 4 TiVo minis. We don't pay anything extra, $40 in savings. We actually receive a $2.50 credit for having a cable card. We opted for a TiVo warranty on the DVR, and while we haven't had to use it, fingers crossed, we have had it for 4 years. If you have a home phone, I also recommend Uma. Obviously, if you can cut the cord, it's worth it, but for my parents, we're saving upwards of $800 a year, including equipment costs, since we also changed our TV package from everything included to something with everything we need. That's $240 to $120, including fees. Also, buy a good mattress. Seriously, the toll it takes on your health to have one that doesn't fit you is costly in the wrong one. Same with paint, too. Don't buy cheap paint. It's not worth having to repaint every 3 years. Definitely buy a good mattress. Your back and body will thank you in the long run, I promise. That's one of the first things I bought with my own money, and I have not regretted it. Also, pillows. Get the perfect one for your neck, and you'll say goodbye to neck pains when you wake up in the mornings. Story 14. Getting appliances or updating old ones. I live in a rural area with quite cold winters and high energy costs. My rental unit does not have a dishwasher, so I was washing them by hand. I realized that in winter, especially, the cost of heating icy cold water to wash dishes was boosting our energy bills significantly. The portable dishwasher that fit our small space cost $571. We had few options. I determined it'll pay for itself in about 2 years, 3 tops. After that, I save money on energy from there on out, and it saves me a lot of time on tedious tasks. Similarly, I'm sure the super old washer, dryer, and stove in my place are energy pigs. If they were replaced, I'd likely save even more on power, but that's not something I'm going to do in a rental. Buying a hybrid car will also save you money in the long run, though the savings are unpredictable given how gas prices fluctuate. I think my husband and I determined that our Prius would pay off the difference between it and a similar new car that was gas only in about 10 years. It's a real long-haul situation, but it will save us money, and it means less time spent refilling it because it runs low on gas so infrequently. Of course, that assumes the car is in good shape for as long as 10 years. We've had it for coming up on 6 so far with no issues or accidents, but we have been taking it in for regular maintenance. Story 15. Build an Earthship, save on utilities, and rent for the rest of your life. Alright, so let me explain a bit. I work with a charity that builds Earthship inspired homes for around $6,000 each. That's less than most people spend on rent in a year. That total material cash outlay includes a small solar system, the rainwater cisterns, the rainwater catchment material on the roof, the greenhouse along the equatorial side of the house for food production and water recirculation. Basic appliances like your refrigerator, the living space, windows, doors, wiring, plumbing, etc. Yeah, in a decade or less, your batteries or inverter or some electronic component is bound to give out and need replacing. But even factoring that in, you're saving a ton. No more water bills, no more heating or cooling bills. Earthships stay around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius, no matter how hot or cold it is outside without using any fuel or electricity, simply thanks to the physics of how they are built. No more electric bills, etc. In a community with shared LAN and internet, each person might be on the hook for about $5 a month for property taxes and their share of the internet bill. I know of no better way to stretch a dollar. Feel free to join us in building these communities. Story 16. Hair trimmers. When I was in college, I was sweating my butt off running between classes with my long, shaggy hair. Finally said enough was enough, stopped at a cosmetologist supply store and asked them what all the hairdressers buy. They pointed me to a $35 Andes set. Been using it to cut my hair every month for the last 9 years with literally no maintenance and minimal cleaning. Buying a safety razor instead of using today's mostly advertised razors like Gillette. Those blades are so expensive. But safety razor blades are super cheap, like $2 for a pack of 10, and each razor blade you can probably use up to 5, 6 times. Initial purchase of the shaver and all that is a little expensive, but in the long run, it's worth it. You'll also maybe have a short learning curve period, but you can learn fast. Dental work, cleanings are important, and small fillings are a very good deal compared to root canals and extractions. Cookware. Buying actual commercial cookware at your local restaurant equipment store may seem expensive, but your pots and pans will likely outlive you. Skip the fancy consumer marketed stuff, it's even more expensive than commercial cookware and doesn't do anything extra but look nice, as long as you never use it. I hope you enjoyed the hacks and tips in this video, and if you made it this far, I'm sure you're going to enjoy just as much. What unethical life hack can you share? I didn't think story 4 was possible. You gotta hear it to believe it yourself. So I'll see you in that video, and thank you for watching this one.